group said that the phantom current draw on a ProMaster is 0.5 amps to 7.7 amps. That would be 700 milliamps. And that just can't be right. So I'm going to measure it. And here's how to measure the current draw on a ProMaster. So we're going to get rid of the WeatherTech mats. And we're going to pull out the cover. Always a hassle. So here's our battery. This is our positive side. Here's our negative side. And if you look right down here, can you see this little lever? That opens up the negative. It pulls it off. So you can basically, if you're going to disconnect the battery, you can use that. And this is a good place to measure the current draw. Current is measured in series with the load. Voltage is measured in parallel. So we have to do things different. If we were just going to measure voltage, we would go from here to there. And in fact, let's do that. Let's switch our meter over to DC volts 20. And let's pop our cover off. Okay, so this is the minus side, this is the plus side. And we'll measure that. Volt. Okay, so there's our battery voltage right there, 12.69, and that's right. That's our voltage, but we want to measure the current draw, and we want to measure it with the van off. So we want to close all the doors and make sure all the lights are off, and I'm going to show you why that person made a mistake from the phantom current draw. And by phantom current draw, I mean the current that a vehicle draws when it's just sitting there and everything's completely off. It draws a little bit of current from the battery, and it's interesting to know what that is because it sort of tells you how long your vehicle can just sit there. And it shouldn't be very much. It's just enough to control a little microcontroller that monitors the...
Keeps the date and time up to date?
Yeah, stuff like that, clock or whatever. Okay, so when we're gonna measure current, we have to do something different. We're gonna go over here to amps, and we're gonna go to the 20 amp rating, and we have to switch this over to the amp rating, to the amp jack. Okay, so we're gonna go in series there. So 20 amps DC. Make sure you're on DC and not AC. See the little curve line is AC. And we're going to go from the common to the A there, which is amps. And we're going to put this probe in between the negative connection. So we're going to take off the negative connection. This will turn off the van. So the van will have no power at this point. Okay?
Is it going to lose date and time and things like that?
It's going to lose date and time probably.
Okay.
So I'm going to close the door. You close the door. Got it? Okay, now this is going to take a few minutes. We're going to watch the current here. This will be our amps. And I'm going to go, here we go. Now the van is connected through the meter. Now look, it's exactly what that guy said. It's right now it's an amp, but we're going to keep watching it. And can you hear?
Yeah, I hear it clicking.
Here's servos and stuff going. Okay, see, there's his 0.7. That's 700 milliamps, which is 0.7 amps. That's a lot of current draw. That is the real phantom draw on a ProMaster.
That took about a minute, minute and a half?
That's what it does draw forever.
Okay, it's
now,
just sitting here.
Yeah, now I'm going to do something. You keep looking at that. I'm going to open the door. Watch this.
Boom.
1.5 amps. See, the lights came on, all kinds of things. 2 amps.
Show what your hands are doing.
So I still have my probe on the. So now we're down to an amp, and eventually, once all the timers and everything finish, it'll drop down to 60 milliamps, which is the phantom current draw. And where that goes, I'm not exactly sure. It's probably a microcontroller that's reading the door switches and stuff. It might be part of an alarm system, part of the radio memory. Who knows? But we could wait another couple minutes, but that will drop down to our 60 milliamps. And I think that's pretty typical for a modern car. And make sure when you measure current, which is this unusual configuration, to always go back to the voltage setting. And that way, if you just grab the meter to measure voltage, which is what you normally do, you won't blow the internal fuse because you're set to amps.
That's a good point.
Yeah.